Let me show you exactly how I made this chunky hand knit oversized blanket. Using any jumbo weight 7 yarn, you're going to connect all your balls of yarn using the magic knot method, because why the fuck not? When else will you get to do this?
You're going to want to make your tail end about this long, and then take your yarn, wrap it around your fingers, then you'll have a loop, pull another loop through. You're going to want that to be about 1.5 to 2 inches, or enough to reach 2 fingers through, and then you're going to want to chain 26. Once you get to your final chain, you're going to want to pull a loop up, but keeping this loop facing up and making sure your chain isn't twisted. You're going to go into your next loop and the remaining loops. Keeping these stitches about roughly 1.5 to 2 inches. And once you reach the end, don't worry about your tail, we're going to hide this later. You're just going to simply take the yarn, put it behind the loops. You're just going to continue pulling up loops that are 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Make sure you don't skip any loops because it will cause problems for you down the line. And also try and keep your tension the same. Try not to change up what you're doing halfway through the project. And then you can simply do the same thing by putting your yarn behind your next row. And I like to make sure my last stitch is a little bit tighter just for structure. You pretty much just continue that all the way down here.
So when you're ending your blanket, you're going to want to make sure that you have 4 times the width of your blanket for the tail.
Same thing as when we were making the blanket, take your yarn and put it behind. Except this time you're going to take your first loop, put your fingers inside, and then take your second loop, fingers inside. You should have 2 loops on your finger. Take your working yarn and pull it through, making a 2-inch loop that you can fit 3 fingers in. Then you're going to take your next loop, stick your finger through, grab your working yarn, pull through, next loop, put your fingers through, take your working yarn, pinch, pull through, next loop, take your working yarn, pinch, pull through, next loop. You're essentially casting off now, and you should get a beautiful braid. Once you get to that last loop, you're going to take your yarn and pull through and fasten off.
After fastening off and weaving in your ends, you should end up with this amazing, beautiful, comfy, oversized chunky knit blanket. One final touch. This pattern is incredibly customizable when it comes to sizing, but